Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and today's video I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys the books that I read during the month of June. So in the month of June I read a total of 5 books, which I say is pretty good. That's actually about my average that I read every month. I would love to read more, but I just haven't been able to, so I'm just gonna go ahead and be happy. I've read some really great books this month, but I also read some big disappointments, so let's go ahead and get started with this video. So the first book that I read during the month of June was my May wrapped book, and it is First Life by Gina Showalter. I have to say I was pretty disappointed with this book. I bought this book because I saw an ad for it on Facebook by the publisher, and it looked really cool and really good. So basically, everyone has 2 lives. You have your first life, which granted does not matter at all because your afterlife is what really matters, and everyone on your first life you have a choice to where you want to go. In the second life, in your afterlife, you have 2 different places. Basically, you have to sign up with the place before you die, or you end up in what they call many ends, which is a place of like torture, I guess. So our main character, she's in a place for juvenile delinquents. Her parents sent her there because she refuses to sign with whichever place in the afterlife. They really want her to choose a certain place, but she doesn't want to be pressured into choosing a place. But what frustrated me about her is the fact that she doesn't actually let us know why it is that she doesn't want to choose. There are good and bad things about both places in the afterlife, but she doesn't actually tell us why it is that she refuses to choose. What is making her doubt a certain place over another. And also, she has this tendency where she tends to forget what happens to her because the guy next to her is super cute. So there is a love interest in this book, and she could be in a really bad situation. Like either she's about to die or someone close to her is about to die, and she gets distracted by how good looking her love interest is, and it really frustrated me. Honestly, if it wasn't for her, I would have loved this book. I think I gave this book 2 stars, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to continue on with the series just because I don't want to read about this main character anymore. I could care less what happens to her. It's sad because I really enjoyed the story, and I think it was interesting, the concept about the afterlife. Alright, and then the next book that I read during the month of June was Prodigy by Marie Lu. This is the sequel to Legend, which I read a few months ago. I actually reread that book because I read that book when it first came out, but I never continued on with the series, and I finally did, and I have to say I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was actually a really great sequel. I feel like a lot of books, especially dystopian, tends to fall in that second book slump, and this book was not like that at all. I really enjoyed it, and I love the character growth of both Day and June, especially together. I like how their relationship is progressing. It's not too rushed and too insta-lovey as it has been with many books that I have read, but I enjoyed it, and I thought it was pretty good sequel. There was something that occurred that I knew was coming. I knew something was going to happen, but I didn't realize what it was going to be, and it threw me off on a loop, and I'm just like so excited for the 3rd book, and I believe I gave it 4 stars. Alright, and then the next book that I read during the month of June was Soundless by Richelle Mead. This was the first book that I read by Richelle Mead, and this was also my June wrapped book. I got this book on a Owl Crate box, I want to say, but it's been sitting on my shelves for the longest time, and I never picked it up. I honestly ended up hearing a lot of negative and mixed reviews in regards to this book. A lot of people were disappointed, so it ended up being that this book just stayed on my shelves because I didn't feel like reading after hearing all those negative reviews. But because this was my wrapped book, I obviously had to read it, and I was surprised by how much I loved it. I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars, but it was 4 stars for the longest time up until the ending. I did feel like the ending was a little strange and a little rushed. How it ended, I feel like there should have been a bigger lead up to how it ended, and there was this thing with their past that kind of influenced the ending, but I wish that past was explained a little bit more, and it wasn't. So I did feel like the ending just wasn't thought out very well, and it wasn't developed very well. So that's why I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars, but I ended up really enjoying it. I don't know, I thought it was pretty good, and it's honestly really short. It's only about 200 plus pages. Alright, and then the next book that I read during the month of June was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is the illustrated edition by J.K. Rowling, and I absolutely loved this book. I was supposed to read this book a long time ago. It's been on my TBR videos for about 3 or 4 TBR videos now, and I finally finally picked it up in the month of June, and I have to say I really loved it. I love the illustrated editions. I think they're so beautiful. Some of the illustrations in these books are so pretty, and it kind of gives you a more immersive reading experience with the Harry Potter books, and I just love it, getting to be on the night bus again and everything that happened. My only critique of this book, I did feel like this book didn't have as many illustrations as the other books, but that could just be me thinking that. But I did feel like I wanted more illustrations in this book. Of course, I gave it 5 stars because I tend to love every single Harry Potter book. They're just fantastic, and I cannot wait to read the next one, which is The Goblet of Fire, because it is my favorite Harry Potter book, and I'm just so excited. The only thing is that I'm sad that there's no illustrated edition out yet. I believe it got pushed back to next year, so I have to wait till next year to get my favorite Harry Potter book in my hands in illustrated edition. Alright, and then the 5th and final book that I read during the month of June was The Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir. So in case you're wondering, first of all, this is the UK edition because I love this cover so much more than the US edition. But this was one of my most anticipated books of the year 2018, because if you guys have been on my channel for a while, then you know that I absolutely love the Amber in the Ashes series. It is one of my favorite series of all time. I actually did a review on an Amber in the Ashes, and if you guys would like to know why it is that I love an Amber in the Ashes so much in detail, it is linked on the screen for you guys. But I have to say, I loved this book so much. However, I did not love it as much as the first 2 books. It was fantastic. It was really action-packed, especially the ending. The ending was so good, and it honestly is the part of this book that blew my mind away. However, I did feel like the beginning and like almost to the middle, it was a little bit slow. And also Elias, he kind of really honestly frustrated me in this book, which is surprising to say because I absolutely love Elias. He is my favorite character in this whole series, and I love him. He's like my ultimate book crush. Everything about him is perfection in my opinion, but he did frustrate me with some of his indecisions. Because of that, it kind of accumulated into people being hurt and bad things happening. But otherwise, I love this book. It was such a great continuation. If you guys have not read the Amber in the Ashes series, I would so highly recommend it. And there you go, guys. Those were all of the books that I read in the month of June. I read some pretty great books in the month of June, and then I also did read some disappointments, but that's okay. It happens. Let me know down in the comments below what was your favorite book that you read this month, because I would really love to know. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All of my social medias are linked down below, including Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads if you'd like to follow me. I hope to see you guys on my next video. Have a good day, guys, and keep reading. Bye!